You were never meant to encounter these words casually. This moment was arranged with intention, guided by divine timing, and protected by heaven itself. There are moments when eternity leans closer to time, when the veil softens, and when the unseen draws near, so the soul can finally hear what it has been whispering for so long. Take a breath. Slow your heart. What you are feeling right now is not imagination. There is a presence beside you, a soul who loves you deeply, is standing with Archangel Michael at this very moment, asking, no, pleading that you do not turn away. They have waited for this opening. They have watched you search for answers. They have seen your strength fade and return again. They know how tired you are, not just physically, but spiritually. Before anything else is revealed, understand this clearly. You are not being watched with judgment. You are being watched with devotion. Someone you love, someone who crossed from this world, is near you now, not to frighten you, not to haunt you, but to protect you and guide you back to safety. They have seen what you cannot see yet. They have felt a shift approaching your life. And because of that, they went to Archangel Michael and asked him to come personally. Michael does not come for small matters. He speaks now with calm authority, with unwavering presence. He says that your soul has reached a threshold, a point where silence would no longer protect you, a point where delay would cause more harm than truth. This message arrived because your spirit finally became quiet enough to receive it. You may have felt it before this moment, a strange heaviness, an unexplained urgency, a pull you couldn't name. That was not anxiety. That was recognition. Heaven has been trying to speak to you for some time, through dreams that felt too real, through songs that seemed to follow you, through repeating signs you almost dismissed, through strangers who said exactly what your heart needed, but none of it fully reached you. So now, Michael stands here, and he says something important must be understood. Heaven does not force itself into human life. It waits for consent. That is why this message found you instead of interrupting you. That is why your heart was nudged instead of pushed. That is why you are reading these words instead of being overwhelmed by them. Your permission matters. And by staying here, by continuing to listen, you are giving it. The soul who loves you has been guarding you quietly, blocking what they could, deflecting what they were allowed to. But now, something requires more than silent protection. It requires your awareness. They have seen conversations about you that never reached your ears. They have felt intentions around you that were not spoken aloud. They have noticed where your energy has been leaking and where your spirit has been drained. And they want you free, not fearful, not suspicious, free. Michael says, you were born carrying something rare, a spiritual weight, a sensitivity that allows you to feel deeply and see beyond surface truth. But that same sensitivity made you vulnerable to people who took without giving, smiled without meaning it, stayed close while secretly pulling from your light. You felt it. You just didn't want to believe it. Heaven noticed anyway. The delays in your life were not punishment. They were protection. Paths slowed down because walking them too early would have cost you more than you knew. Doors closed because what waited behind them was not aligned with your spirit. But now, the pause is ending. The soul beside Michael whispers something gently. I saw what they did when you weren't looking. This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to release you. You do not need to confront anyone. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to relive old wounds. You only need to reclaim your authority. Michael asks you to do something simple but powerful. In your own way, quietly or aloud, say this: I give heaven permission to remove all hidden interference from my life. Say it slowly. Say it honestly. That single intention shifts more than you realize. There is a reason memories have been resurfacing lately. Small moments. Conversations you forgot. Voices that echo unexpectedly. The one who loves you remembers everything. They remember the way you cared. The things you blamed yourself for. The words you never got to say. And they want you to know this now without doubt. They never needed an apology. They needed you to heal. They forgave you long before you forgave yourself. The moment they crossed over, they chose to remain close, not trapped, not lost, but assigned. Assigned to you. Archangel Michael says your name has been spoken in places you cannot see. Not rooms of gossip, but councils of alignment. There is movement happening around your future. Within a short window, something will shift that feels subtle at first. It may not look dramatic. It may not announce itself loudly, but it will feel warm, familiar. Right. That is the signal. When it happens, do not overthink it. Do not dismiss it. Just acknowledge it. That moment is confirmation that what was delayed is being repositioned. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are precisely where you needed to be when heaven decided to act. If your heart feels tender right now, that is okay. Tenderness means the door is open. And if something inside you feels comforted, simply by being here, that is not accidental either. Moments like this are not meant to be rushed. They are meant to be received. If you feel drawn to stay connected to messages like this, messages that don't shout but resonate, it is because your spirit recognizes consistency. When the heart stays open, guidance flows more easily. You are not alone in this space. Michael remains present. The soul who loves you remains near. And this is only the beginning of what is being restored. Take another breath. Let what you've heard settle, because what comes next goes even deeper into release, into realignment, and into the moment your strength begins returning in ways you forgot were possible. As these words settle into you, something quiet is already shifting. Not outside of you, inside. Archangel Michael remains beside you, steady and unwavering, and the soul who loves you is still near, listening for the soft changes in your breath, feeling the way your heart is beginning to open again. They know this opening well. They remember when your spirit used to trust easily, before disappointment taught you to guard yourself, before strength became something you had to force instead of something that flowed. Michael speaks gently now. He says that one of the greatest weights you have carried was never meant to be yours alone. You took responsibility for outcomes you could not control. You blamed yourself for endings that were not failures, but completions. There are chapters in your life that ended not because you were unworthy, but because you outgrew them. Heaven never asked you to stay small for the sake of familiarity. That is why certain connections have felt heavy. why some conversations drained you more than they nourished you, why your spirit resisted places your mind tried to justify. You were sensing misalignment, and the soul beside Michael confirms this quietly. You weren't wrong. You were just early. They want you to understand something now, clearly and without guilt. Outgrowing people does not mean abandoning love. Releasing a season does not erase what it taught you. It simply means your spirit is moving forward. Michael says that spiritual pruning has begun, not as loss, but as refinement. What fades now was never meant to follow you into what comes next. What remains will feel lighter, truer, and more peaceful. You may notice certain people becoming distant. You may feel less motivated to explain yourself. You may feel an urge to simplify your life. This is not withdrawal. It is alignment. You are being prepared to receive without distortion. The soul who loves you smiles at this stage. They always knew you would be the one to break patterns that ran deeper than words. They saw it even when you doubted it. They want you to pay attention in the coming days. Not with fear, with awareness. There will be signs, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but precise. A name that keeps appearing. A dream that feels vivid, layered, intentional. A stranger whose words answer a question you never spoke aloud. These moments are not coincidence. They are replies. When one arrives, acknowledge it quietly. You don't need to announce it. A simple recognition is enough. Michael says you are not being rushed. You are being guided. There is a difference. Rushing drains the spirit. Guidance strengthens it. You may feel emotional waves come and go. Tears without clear reason. Moments of calm followed by sudden memories. This is integration. Your spirit is catching up to a truth it already knew. The soul beside you wants you to hear this next part clearly. They know you have held guilt in places no one ever saw. They know you replayed moments, wondering what you could have done differently. They know you questioned yourself in silence, but they want you free from that now. They say, I saw your heart. That was always enough. They never measured your love by perfection. They felt it in intention. They felt it in presence. They felt it in the way you tried, even when you were exhausted. You did not fail them, and you do not need to carry regret as proof of love. Michael places his shield around you now, not as defense against danger, but as reassurance. He says you are safe to soften again. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world, but you do not need to close it completely. Discernment will guide you better than walls ever did. There is someone near you, physically or energetically, who does not understand your depth. That is not your burden to fix. You were never meant to explain your calling to those not assigned to walk beside you. Your silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. As this understanding settles, you may feel a release in your chest or shoulders. That is tension leaving. You are stepping out of survival mode. The soul who loves you has been waiting for this moment. They knew once you stopped fighting yourself, everything else would follow. Michael says your name has been spoken again, this time in connection with opportunity. Someone in your future is being drawn toward you. Not by effort, by resonance. This connection may not arrive loudly. It may arrive calmly, naturally, but it will feel familiar in a way you cannot explain. When it does, trust your body's response more than your mind's hesitation. Your intuition has been sharpening. Those sudden knowings you've been having, those instincts that speak before logic catches up, that is alignment. Heaven has been communicating through your inner senses. The more you trust them, the clearer they become. You are entering a phase where your energy speaks before your words do. People will feel your presence differently now. Some will be drawn closer. Some will quietly step back. Let both happen. The soul beside Michael says they have been protecting your reputation in ways you never saw, redirecting misunderstandings, softening judgments, clearing paths quietly. Now the favor that was delayed is beginning to surface. You may notice opportunities appearing that feel undeserved. They are not undeserved. They are overdue. Michael says this next season will ask something new of you. Not effort, honesty, not hustle, trust, not proving, receiving. This may feel uncomfortable at first. You are used to earning safety through endurance, but you no longer need to suffer to be worthy. If your heart feels uncertain right now, that's okay. Courage often arrives after action, not before. Stay present. Stay open. And if something in this message resonates deeply, allow yourself to remain connected to this space. Not out of obligation, but out of recognition. Guidance flows best when the heart stays receptive. You are not being asked to change who you are. You are being invited to return to yourself. The soul who loves you is proud of how far you've come, not because you never fell, but because you always rose. They say, "You are closer than you think," and Michael confirms it. What you once thought was lost is not gone. It is being restored in a form that will not break you this time. Take another breath. Let the words settle where they need to, because what unfolds next touches your purpose, your voice, and the part of you that is ready to stop hiding your light. And that is where everything truly begins. There is a stillness around you now, not emptiness, presence. Archangel Michael remains calm and unwavering, while the soul who loves you stands just close enough for your spirit to feel without needing to see. This is not a moment to rush through. It is a moment to receive. Michael speaks again. He says the reason your heart has felt heavier at night is because your spirit has been shedding layers that no longer belong to you. Old identities, old survival patterns, old agreements you made when you didn't yet know your worth. You learned how to endure. Now you are learning how to live. This transition always feels strange at first. Peace can feel unfamiliar when chaos was once normal. If you felt restless without knowing why, it's because your soul is adjusting to a higher rhythm, a rhythm that no longer responds to fear, but to truth. The soul beside Michael wants you to know something gently. They remember the version of you that laughed freely, that dreamed without apologizing, that trusted their inner voice without second-guessing it. That version was never lost. It was protected. Protected until the moment you were strong enough to carry it again. You may notice now that certain memories no longer sting the way they once did, or that when you think of the past, you feel clarity instead of pain. That is healing taking root. Michael says your tears have not been wasted. Every quiet cry watered something sacred. You are entering a season where your sensitivity becomes your strength again, not your burden. There is something inside you that others feel safe around. A calm, a presence, a way of listening that makes people feel seen. You didn't imagine that gift, but over time, being misunderstood made you question it. Being used made you guard it. Being blamed made you doubt it. That season is ending. The soul who loves you whispers, "Get ready to feel like yourself again." Not the version shaped by pain, the version shaped by purpose. Michael says a door that once felt locked is loosening now, not because you forced it, but because the timing is finally right. Before, stepping through it would have cost you your peace. Now, it will expand it. This door may look like an opportunity, or a conversation, or a realization that suddenly shifts how you see yourself. Do not underestimate small openings. Heaven often moves quietly. You may feel prompted to speak up where you once stayed silent, or to rest where you once pushed yourself too far. Both are signs of wisdom. The soul beside Michael wants to address something you've kept hidden. You have been carrying shame for surviving something that should have broken you. You wondered why it still affected you, why you weren't over it yet, why it lingered. But survival is not weakness. It is evidence of strength forged in silence. They say, "I am proud of you for staying alive, staying kind, staying open." Michael says your nervous system has been on high alert for too long. Your body learned to brace itself even when there was no immediate danger. That is changing now. As your spirit feels safer, your body will follow. You may notice deeper sleep, easier breathing, moments of peace that arrive unexpectedly. Let them. You don't need to analyze every improvement. Receive it. There is someone alive now who will play a role in your next chapter. You may not know them well yet, or you may know them without realizing their significance. This connection is being aligned carefully. The soul who loves you has been whispering your name into the right spaces, guiding conversations without being seen. When this connection deepens, it will feel natural, unforced, recognizing. Trust the ease. Michael says to stop rehearsing old pain in your mind, not because it didn't matter, but because it no longer defines you. Your story did not end at your hardest moment. It was redirected. You may soon receive something that moves you emotionally. A message, an offer, a moment of recognition. It may bring tears, but not from sorrow, from relief, from realization, from knowing that you were never abandoned. The soul beside you says, when it happens, remember this moment. Remember that heaven believed in your future before you could see it yourself. Your intuition has been growing stronger for a reason. That quiet inner voice is not random thought. It is alignment. The more you honor it, the clearer it becomes. Michael says, your energy is changing rooms now. People will feel calmer around you. Some may feel unsettled without knowing why. Both reactions are reflections, not judgments. You are no longer meant to dim yourself to maintain comfort for others. You are meant to be steady in your truth. There is something you've been holding back. A truth, a dream, a story. Not because you lacked courage, but because you feared it wouldn't be received with care. Michael says the time is coming when your voice will be needed, not to convince, to illuminate. Someone will recognize themselves in what you share. The soul beside you already knows who they are. They say, your healing will heal others. This next phase of your life will feel different. You will notice less urgency to explain yourself, more patience with your own process, a stronger sense of inner authority. This is maturity of the spirit, not hardened, grounded. If at any point you feel overwhelmed, return to stillness, not distraction. Stillness is where guidance speaks most clearly. And if these words continue to resonate, allow yourself to stay connected to messages that nourish rather than drain you. You don't need more noise. You need reminders. Michael says your destiny is not fragile. It does not depend on perfection. It does not vanish with mistakes. It is resilient, anchored, protected. What tried to break you revealed what could not be broken. The soul who loves you stands in peace now, not because everything is finished, but because you have remembered who you are. And that remembrance changes everything. Take another breath. What remains will carry you into the final unfolding, where reassurance becomes confidence and hope becomes direction. And there, the path ahead begins to glow. There is a warmth around you now, subtle but undeniable. Not emotion alone, recognition. Archangel Michael remains present, his energy steady, protective, and calm. And the soul who loves you stands at peace, not because the journey is over, but because you have remembered who you are within it. Michael speaks one final time. And when he does, there is no urgency, only truth. He says the battles that exhausted you were never signs of weakness. They were signs of importance. Pressure follows purpose. The intensity you endured was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you. You were shaped in places no one applauded. You survived moments no one witnessed. And still, you chose compassion over bitterness. That choice mattered more than you know. There is a reason life has been asking you to slow down lately. A reason silence has felt louder than noise. A reason solitude has felt necessary. Your spirit has been recalibrating. Michael says you are no longer meant to chase what is meant for you. What belongs to you will recognize you. Effort will be replaced with alignment. Struggle will be replaced with flow. This does not mean life becomes effortless. It means it becomes honest. The soul who loves you wants to leave you with something that was never fully spoken before. They say, "You were always the best part of me." Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. They loved the way you felt deeply, the way you noticed what others missed, the way you stayed gentle even when life hardened around you. That love did not end. It transformed. It still surrounds you in moments you can't explain, in calm that arrives unexpectedly, in intuition that protects you quietly. When you hear their name, pause. When a memory surfaces, acknowledge it, not with sadness, but with gratitude. Every time you recognize their presence, the connection strengthens. Michael says, you are now walking with greater spiritual authority. Your words carry more weight. Your intentions travel farther. Be mindful of how you speak to yourself. Speak as though heaven is listening, because it is. Speak healing. Speak favor. Speak truth. You will notice that certain doors open without resistance now. Others will close without conflict. Do not question either. Both are forms of protection. Your next chapter will not require you to prove your worth. It will require you to honor it. There will be moments when doubt tries to return, when old voices attempt to remind you of who you used to be. When that happens, remember this. You are not who you were in survival. You are who you are in alignment. The soul who loves you has already seen the version of you that is emerging. They are proud not because you are flawless, but because you are faithful to your growth. Michael says the coming days will feel lighter, not because every problem disappears, but because clarity replaces confusion. You will sense when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. This is wisdom. You do not need external validation anymore. You have already been approved by the highest authority. If you feel called to remain in spaces that nourish your spirit, spaces where messages arrive gently, without fear, trust that instinct. Staying receptive keeps the channel open. Not everything meant for you will arrive loudly. Some blessings whisper first. The soul beside you steps back slightly now, not leaving, but trusting that you are ready. They say, live boldly, live honestly, live fully, not for them. For you, your life is not meant to be a memorial of pain. It is meant to be an expression of purpose. Michael stands firm and says this with certainty. Your destiny is stronger than any opposition you faced. What was meant to end you only revealed your endurance. What tried to silence you only sharpened your voice. From this moment forward, your steps are guided more clearly. When uncertainty arises, return to stillness. When fear whispers, return to truth. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are divinely remembered. And now, as this message comes to rest within you, take one more breath. Feel the steadiness in your chest, the calm behind your thoughts, the quiet confidence beginning to form. That is alignment. Carry this peace with you, and when you need reminding, return, not to dependency, but to remembrance. Your story continues. Your light remains. Your path is unfolding. Archangel Michael remains near whenever you call. The soul who loves you walks with you in gentler ways now. And you move forward not with fear, but with clarity. Not with hesitation, but with trust. The journey has already begun.